Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for joining us. Leave it to Raritan Borough for fiscal conservatism. This is the smallest podium in the state of New Jersey. It all started right here, Anthony, 35 years ago. From the time that I declared for governor in January 2020, I sought to surround myself with a campaign team comprised of professionals of the highest caliber, people known throughout New Jersey for being amongst the very best in their respective fields. Most of them are here today. One such person is campaign counsel Mark Sheridan, who I trust implicitly and who, by the way, argued the state Supreme Court case against borrowing billions to balance our state budget that I sponsored. Following Election Day, as vote by mail and provisional ballots were counted, I would speak with Mark daily and ask him a single, very simple question. Can I win the election? And if I cannot, should there be a recount? Late yesterday was the first time, based on vote counts to date, that Mark Sheridan answered no, while also saying we would continue to closely monitor the vote counts. And so, I called Governor Murphy earlier today and congratulated him on his re-election and wished him well in serving the people of New Jersey. Why are we in Raritan Borough? 100 years ago, my grandparents immigrated to this country, settling right here in Raritan. They raised their children in a 4-family house not 300 yards from this very building. My parents, who had but one high school diploma between them, raised their 4 children in this great borough, starting out in my grandparents' 4-family home. My dad worked 38 years in the street department for Public Service Gas. He was a union pipe fitter. My mom worked midnights on the line for J&J. 2 blocks from here, my parents owned a restaurant, all the while never leaving their employ at Public Service or J&J. No 2 people ever worked harder, and every dime they made went to their 4 kids. Raritan is where Melinda and I started our family, in a 2-family house right across the street from my grandparents' house. New Jersey is my home, and it always will be. And for nearly 2 years, I traveled every corner of this state, engaging with New Jerseyans of every race, color, creed, and religion, listening and discussing their concerns, talking about the issues that matter, kitchen table issues, common sense solutions. It was an exhilarating experience that I enjoyed immensely. Being on the campaign trail only reaffirmed that the people of New Jersey are amongst the most decent and hardworking in the country. They are also the most frustrated. For the state they love, the state I love, is broken. Adding to the frustration is political leadership that is out of touch with what it is that really needs fixing here in New Jersey. There are those who seek to get things done by raising taxes. I prefer to see things happen by fixing our problems. And so, let me be clear. The people of this state do not want a handout. What they want is for us to fix the country's highest in the nation property taxes, the country's worst in the nation business climate, especially for small business, a bloated and inefficient state government that's been corrupted by special interests. Communities, people want them safe and secure by supporting our local and state police. And they want their public school curriculum to get back to basics and teaching critical life skills, providing vocational training, and never ever seeking to assume the role of parent. I was fully confident that, in speaking to these issues each and every day, with the people across the state who I'm proud to call as my fellow New Jerseyans, that I would win on Election Day. Of course, there were those who thought I couldn't win. There were those who told me I wouldn't win. Fact is, we almost did win. Why? Because every single time misguided politicians take this state too far off track, the great people of this state push, pull, and prod it right back to where it belongs, right back to where it needs to be, the common sense center. I do not see the result of this election as a failure. On the contrary, I am proud of what our campaign accomplished, proud of how we helped reinvigorate the Republican Party and mobilize new people who've never been involved before. To that end, despite those who told me, Jack, don't talk about the legislative candidates, just run your own campaign. We leaned into down ballot races and the results were the greatest election night for Republicans in 30 years. Republicans won 8 targeted legislative races. We flipped 6 assembly seats. We defeated 2 Democrat incumbents in the Senate and picked up numerous seats in what many consider to be blue counties. And so I'm also proud that there is now greater balance of power. And suddenly, I'm hearing Trenton politicians talk about lowering taxes, the kitchen table, common sense solutions, and paying much closer attention to what it is that's really bothering everyday New Jerseyans. To those who are disappointed that I'm conceding, to those whose faith in our election system is shaken, to those who are angry that I'm not asking for a recount today, let me say this. I've worked every day and night for 22 months to become New Jersey's governor. If you think I'd be standing here today conceding if I thought I won this election, you couldn't be more wrong. I hate to lose. Ask Mayor DeSico. But I'm also someone who believes strongly in our republic and our democratic processes. Enough votes have been counted. There does not appear to be a path to victory or the basis for a recount. Nor do we know of any systemic or widespread fraud. So no, I see no proof that this election was stolen. As my campaign said in a press release earlier this week, the new law the governor rushed to enact led to this disjointed and excruciating slow vote counting process. Sadly, in our current climate, that slow count and constantly changing online numbers gives rise to doubt in the system and unfounded conspiracy theories. That isn't healthy. The fact that we are 10 days past election and votes are still being counted is a problem for every close election to come. Voters do deserve better. I propose that the legislature, in partnership with the County Clerks Association and the Election Board Officials Association, standardize election reporting.